So in the big beautiful chaos of last week, Indivisible and Five Calls put out some guidance about calling Congress and specifically calling out of district. And I was asked through multiple DMs and comments on posts to weigh in on this. So I am. And I'm just no one. And if you hate my opinions, you can at me and tell me all about it. After some soul searching, I have 5 key points about this topic. 1. Yes, you should absolutely be calling your 2 state senators and your congressional rep. If you're not doing that, it's kind of like not eating your vegetables, not eating the meat and potatoes. Like, that's the meal. That's what you need to be doing before you do literally anything else. 2, I want to make it clear that what I'm doing on my channel is trying to do templates, scripts, examples of calls, bringing the issues to light, that sort of thing. I'm expecting people to take what I am saying, apply it to their Democratic or Republican rep, whatever the case may be, but I am specifically trying to empower their constituents to speak up. I am by no means expecting my followers to call every single person that I am calling. But I also don't have a problem with you doing that, as I'll get to in just a second. 3rd point, Indivisible in particular really went after trying to go after leadership, committee chairs, committee ranking members, and whatnot. And this makes absolutely no sense to me. You can actually call those committees directly. You don't have to call the rep's office. And there are times where you need to call the committee because the committee itself is doing something wildly out of pocket. For instance, when the Rules Committee was holding their hearing at 1 in the morning for a piece of legislation that it was as impactful and consequential as the big beautiful bill, it made absolutely no sense that they had scheduled the meetings to start at 1 in the morning. And it's completely appropriate to call the committee. That is about committee procedure and business. It's not even about the legislation itself. So telling people that there's never a time, as Indivisible stated very emphatically on their post, to call not your rep, I think is not accurate. 4th point, there's a big difference between calling with your opinion and calling with facts, like a lobbyist or an advocacy group would. Anybody can call any rep with facts about their district. Hey, did you know your Medicaid enrollment rate was 44%? Hey, do you know that your state's SNAP benefits would go up by X dollars if you decide to enact this piece of legislation? So on and so forth. There are literal groups and individuals who spend all day on Capitol Hill saying these exact same things. A regular old citizen calling an office and saying that isn't really that different. Now you need to make sure that you have the right information. You need to make sure you check your sources. Don't call with conspiracy theories. Do this responsibly. But if you're willing to put in the work, then there's literally no reason for you not to do that. They also tried to make a point about jamming the phone line so that real constituents couldn't get through because non-constituents are calling so much. And quite frankly, I have yet to see this in my experience, even on the busiest days right next to things like the big beautiful bill. 5th point, and probably the most important one. I invite Indivisible and all the other advocacy groups to look around. We are not dealing with good faith actors in this administration, in Congress, or even in our judicial branch right now. The MAGA movement is not just a partisan difference on issues. It is an anti-democratic party. It wants a completely different form of government. It wants a judiciary that can do whatever the fuck it wants. It wants a legislator that rubber stamps the executive. And it wants an executive that can inflict wildly harmful policy on our citizenry. So I'm sorry, but this is just not the time for the rules. We don't have to be lawless to creatively attack a problem. MAGA's been very creative so far in their interpretation of the law, in the way that they carry out policy. That's working for them. And if we're going to resist the Yahtzees, we need to also approach them creatively. We need to let them know that we're not going to just stand by and let them do their BS while we call our 2 state senators and our 1 congressional rep and hope that they talk to their colleagues. Business as usual only works when it's business as usual. Those are my thoughts. Again, if advocacy groups want to at me, tell me how stupid I am, like, have at it. In the meantime, I've got a few more calls to make.